All right, hello scholars. Let's get into our final OBS video this time around. So we've already set up our scenes. In many cases, we've got our opening scene, our main scene. We even created a testing or tasting scene that we've got and our ending scene. But when it comes to transitioning, it's not exactly what we want. So before we dive in, make sure that you have the Move plug-in. It's listed in FSO, so make sure you download that and then come back to this video. Now, as we move, we're going to move a little fast. So feel free to pause, rewind, replay, all of that to make sure you catch all of the details as we go through this. So let's dive in. So here we are right at the beginning. This should seem familiar. This is our second scene. We've got our desktop, we've got our camera with the tiger mask in place, and we also have our bamboo, our name, and our background. Wonderful. But as we have this in play right now, our transitions are a little bland. Don't get me wrong, OBS has some set ones that we have built in. So from main scene to the testing scene, you can see there's just a fade of where it's at right now, from one to the other. And if you go to scene transitions, you can change it. They have two right now as standard, cut and fade. So you can see the cut is very abrupt. But for fade, we can change the duration. So in this case, I changed the durations to 3000 milliseconds instead of the default 300 milliseconds, and it does make a notable change, but it also still limits. Now, as you saw in my own example with this video, there's a little feather that pops up. That is a stinger transition. That is a video that I chose to pop in, and I uploaded that, and that works for some of my scenes. So you can do that as well, or we can create some. Let's take a look at what that fade looks like now. So you can see how long it lasts as we go from one to another. It gives a nice immediate kind of change into that doesn't feel abrupt. It's not shocking, but again, it's very unexciting. So here's what we're going to do differently. We are now going to create another scene where everything is housed together and all of these assets that we've put in get to move all over the place. Here's where it gets to become fun. So instead of just having our main scene and our tasting scene, we're going to make those the same thing. We're going to call this our everything scene, much like what we might see as an everything bagel, right? All of it is just put in together in one spot. So we're going to create our everything scene, and then we're going to add in all of our assets. So you'll see here where I go through and I'm going to add in the image, and we're going to do the background, and then we're going to do in another image, and we're going to add in the nameplate, and we're going to add in another image, and we're going to add in the bamboo and another image for the tiger mask and the desktop. Basically, at this point, what I want you to do is to rebuild your second scene. Get all of the components that are on there, and then we'll go ahead and pause. So if you need to take that moment, upload everything, get caught in, do that. Here's your moment. So you can see I'm bringing in the tiger mask, bamboo, name, background, getting it all placed that I want to be, basically for that second scene of where it is. Don't cheat. Don't bring in just the scene itself because we want to be able to edit it as we go along. So you can see I've got the placement here and paying attention to ordering. So under my sources, I'm taking bamboo and I'm slowly moving it up to the top. I'm going to struggle for a hot second as I try to move it over, where I'm going to put first the camera nest and then the desktop camera underneath each other with the bamboo on top. So it layers in the way that I want. The bamboo is on top, then the tiger mask, and then behind it is the desktop. Boom. So now that I've got the everything scene set up, all of the assets are in there that I eventually want to move around and play with. Here's where we're going to right-click on the source scene, where we choose everything scene. Now, at this point, the only time we've right-clicked on the scene section is when we want to rename them. But this time around, we're going to choose to click to filter. So we're going to add a filter in place. So right now, nothing's there. So guess what? We get to add one. Surprise, right? So we're going to click move source. We want things to move at this point. So we're going to have everything put into place. Here's where it sounds a little bit of like setting the scene. We have already everything where it needs to be in the second position. So we're going to go in and we're going to label all of it. We're going to label all the movements or assets that we want to move. And this time we're going to choose 3 assets to move. We're going to choose the bamboo. We're going to choose the tiger mask. And we're also going to choose then our desktop. These are the 3 assets we want to move around. The background, the nameplate, those stay the same in the same location. So we're not going to worry about those. So we're going to come in here and we're going to click move source. There's going to be a lot of other options. Ignore those. Move source here. When I click on it, I'm going to title it. So since this time I want to focus on one particular asset, I'm going to give it a descriptive name that allows me to know what it is. So I'm going to call it bamboo, and I'm going to say move because that's the action. And because this is in the second position where I want it to end up, I'm going to give it a 2. Right? Bamboo move 2. I'm going to press OK. And then under here, make sure that when you choose source, that you choose bamboo or whatever it is, the accurate asset that you're choosing here. I always forget to do this every single time. I'm like, why isn't it working? Because it always defaults to the background image. For me, at least in this case, make sure that you choose the correct source. No matter what you name it, you still need to select the right material. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to choose bamboo. I like that it's set on the easing in and out. All right. And then as I scroll down, there's a lot of options here, but we're going to go under transform. And then we're going to click the button set transform or get transform. And that is basically telling it, hey, memorize the coordinates of where it is now. That's all we're telling it. Memorize that this is where it is, where I want you to have it placed when I press this button. So then we're going to do the same thing with a few other assets as well. Oh, I'm going to also add in the slow time. 300, changing it to 3000. That's merely a preference choice, so it's not flying across as I move things around. So let's add in our next move source. So we've done our bamboo. The next thing that we want to work on moving at this point is the tiger mask. That's my camera face and the tiger shape. So I'm going to call it Tiger Move 2. Again, change your source. So I'm going to do that as the camera nest. I'm going to change it from 300 to 3000 milliseconds to make it move. And then I'm going to press Get Transform again. Awesome. Now we're going to do this a third time just to make sure we really have things down. We're going to do our desktop source. So Desktop Move 2. We're going to change it to 3000 milliseconds, and you can change it to whatever you want, how fast you want it to be or how slow. Click transform, and then you're good. Don't forget the source. I almost just forgot that. Awesome. Now that we've got these all in place, we're going to take this and we're going to move it over to the side, and we're going to put everything back in the first position now. All right, how we want the first scene to look. So I'm going to lower this bamboo because I want it to look like it's growing or receding. Moving up and down on that end. Next is our desktop. I want it itty bitty, almost to the point where it's hidden. So I'm going to shrink it down at that point. It may not even be small enough. And I'm going to try to hide it behind now my camera nest. So I'm going to select that and make sure it's big enough. That's a small little hint as well. Sometimes selecting the right asset is hard when they're layered on top of each other. If you go down to your sources and you click it, like here, I clicked on camera nest, it selected that asset for me. So I don't accidentally grab the wrong thing and start resizing the wrong thing, which I have done many times before. So boom, I noticed that that is not big enough. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger so it fits in here, getting it somewhat where I'm happy where it is. It's not perfectly centered, but I don't need it to be. And once I like where it's all placed, then I bring back that little file over on the right, and I'm going to drag it back in, and we're going to do the same thing. But we're going to tell it that this is now position 1. So move source. Awesome. We're going to type in bamboo move 1. This is where we want the original positioning to be. And I'm making sure the source is there, 3000 milliseconds or whatever you choose, and then click Get Transform. Then we're going to do it again. And we're going to choose move source. And for some reason, my scenes keep changing here. You should probably not have that problem at this point. I know it's one of my hotkey issues that I've got going on. So now we're going to do Tiger Move 2. And it says that's not 2. It's supposed to be Tiger Move 1. We've already done second position. So Tiger Move 1. Then we go into our source. And we select, of course, that it's under our camera nest that I've got there. 3000 milliseconds that we put in as well. And then we click Get Transform. Then for our third and final time, just to make sure we really know what we're doing, move source, desktop move 1, and we add that into place. Make sure that we're selected on the right scene. There we go. And then we go to our source and we choose desktop, 3000 milliseconds. Wonderful, wonderful. Get transform. Perfect. Now, here's the fun part. While I could choose to click these individually and they'll bring up and move on their own, I want them to all link together. So when I change and I want the desktop to move, everything else in scene 2 also moves. When I click to move to desktop 1, everything else in scene 1 moves. So now we get to link things together. If this happens, then this happens, then this happens. It's called chaining the events. If A happens, then B happens, then C happens. So if bamboo 1 moves, then we're going to trigger the event that desktop 1 moves. If desktop 1 moves, then we have, what is our other one? Tiger mask 1 move. So that way they're linked together. And that way I only have to focus on triggering 1 event instead of 3 events. So let's dive into that now. So we're going to hop into desktop move 1. And I'm going to, or sorry, not desktop 1. We're going to start with bamboo. Bamboo move 1, and I'm just going to scroll all the way down to under actions. So that's near to the bottom of here. When I scroll under actions, there are going to be a couple of options here. What you want to focus on is that middle selection called simultaneous move. What this will mean is when I click this, the others will automatically trigger. I don't have to worry about the start trigger or stop trigger. We're not interested in that today. Just the simultaneous move here. So when I click on that, I'm going to choose the asset that I also want to move. So I'm choosing desktop move 1. So when bamboo move 1 happens, then so does desktop move 1. Now that we've got that, let's go to desktop move 1. And we scroll down under actions and we choose simultaneous move and we choose tiger mask 1 or tiger move 1. So all of our move 1 situations are all selected together. Now, if yours are more complicated, you might have 4 or 5 or 6 assets that move in or out. Or instead of just having 2 scenes, you might have 3 scenes or 4 scenes that go in. So you might have, asset move 2 come into play or whatever that might be. So now we're moving into stage 2. When bamboo move 2 happens, we want the simultaneous move of desktop move 2. Then we go under desktop move 2 and we choose then tiger mask 2 and we select that. And that way we have everything set up the way that we want. So notice when I turn on the eyeball of bamboo move 2, all of it moves together. And then I do bamboo move 1, all of it moves together. But I don't want to have this little box open when I have to change things. So what I'm going to do to make it easier for me is I'm going to hotkey it. So that way I can make these changes just from my keyboard. That's the goal here, to make it as easy as possible. And then eventually if you get something like a Stream Deck. So I've got one right here. I can't hold it up higher because it's plugged in. This little thing here, right? You can choose to have buttons that assign to it, but also just your keyboard works as well. So you're going to click on settings in that bottom right corner. And on the left side, you're going to select hotkeys. So we're going to scroll down. There's hotkeys. And I'm going to find my bamboos, right? So there we go. We're scrolling. And we need to find bamboo move 1. So I'm going to assign it the number 2 on my keyboard, right? Every time I press 2, scene 2 is going to come in, or scene 1 is going to come into play. And then I'm going to scroll down or scroll up and find bamboo move 2, and I'm going to assign it to 3. I'm going to press apply and then okay. So here's what it looks like when I have this in place just by the move of my keyboard. So I don't have to worry about any scenes, and I can do this live or easily in the middle of a presentation so it feels seamless in that movement. So this is what you are going to create on your own. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your submission in your OBS integrated learning. Good luck.